Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 5. I think this episode will get a lot of people back on side to some degree. I think, obviously a fair amount of people will just not like it anyway. And I get that because of the previous, episodes and their expectation of the show, plus also just dodgy, weird elements here and there. Now, this episode wasn't perfect, but it was definitely better. I enjoyed this episode, in fairness, but because this episode was much better than the other episodes, I am left going, this is kind of what the show should have been about. And not only that, the good things about this episode are somewhat overshadowed because, there should have been further setup for them. So we're going to talk full spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen it, then obviously just click off the video, and if you don't give a crap, then it doesn't really matter anyway. Now, just as a quick aside, because I get loads of people going, "Oh, you're a shill, you like this show." I look at Star Wars from a very outside perspective. I've watched all of the Star Wars movies and a lot of the shows as well, but I wouldn't consider myself a fan. I'm not enamored with the lore. So when I pick up on things, I'm picking up more on dumb story points that they're establishing within this particular series, also in conjunction with some of the wider elements. So I just thought I'd say that from the top, because one of the things that annoyed me in the last episode was Darth Vader's response to Reva letting Obi-Wan Kenobi go, and I was like, that's really dumb, because Darth Vader, you let Obi-Wan Kenobi go. So I was like, that's really stupid. And the thing is, they continued that again in this episode. And by the way, this was the best Darth Vader episode. There is a sequence in here that you're going to shit your pants to. It was really good. But they continued that again. And why? Don't know. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Darth Vader, you can't let Obi-Wan Kenobi go, then be annoyed that other people haven't caught him for you again. You literally watched him go. You could have done something, you tit. So that annoyed me, but let's get on to the good, and we'll kind of do compliment sandwich, kind of one after the other. The really good stuff of this episode was the Darth Vader stuff and the flashbacks to Anakin. So, when I say Darth Vader, I'm encompassing all of it. There was a lot of flashbacks. This stuff had been shot recently, so, they don't look as young as they did. But that I don't care. That's fine, because it's giving us additional scenes to work with to flesh out storylines. And the flashback is Obi-Wan Kenobi training Anakin with a lightsaber. They're just having a duel, basically. Just a training session. And it mirrors the entire episode with Darth Vader chasing Obi-Wan. So I thought that was quite a smart narrative. I enjoyed that, but again, these things that I enjoy, you're only left going, well, why didn't you give us more of this? That's really stupid. Because you could have had that could have easily been implemented all the way through the series. And I think the thing is that this show, unfortunately, doesn't quite know what it wants to be. Is it an Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker show, or is it a Reva show? It's kind of all over the place, and that's what really lets it down. Now, yeah, the fight scenes were great, brutal, and Darth Vader, oh my god, when he ran in at the end, well, didn't run, he just walks in, just saunters in at the end, force holds the ship in the sky, pulls it down, and rips the doors off. Yes, man. Yes, you go. That was epic. That was so good. Loved it. Now, one thing that I didn't like is also kind of what I did like as well. They finally fleshed out Reva's backstory. It was pretty obvious that this was going to be the case, that Reva was a youngling that survived, Order 66, right? That's good to know, finally, but we should have had that at the start, because this is a character that they're supposedly spinning off again into its own show, and it's like, right, okay, but I don't care about her because you've not given us that much to work with. We're episode 5 and we're learning about her tragic backstory. We should have had that at the start, or at least implemented throughout the show. And that was dumb. Like, that was really, really dumb. But I enjoyed finally getting there, and I also enjoyed the flashback, again, because this show is so muddled. I enjoyed more so the flashback of Anakin during Order 66, looking like a badass, you know, obviously evil and stuff, but just looks cool. And those things are, I think, what people wanted. They wanted some of the nostalgia, regardless whether it's the prequels or not. They still wanted the nostalgia. So, learning who Reva is, fine. She got appointed Grand Inquisitor, but it turns out Obi-Wan... basically, Reva tracks Obi-Wan Kenobi and everyone else to Jabim, I think it was called. I was going to say Jim Beam then, but that's I think it's a whiskey. So Jabim and Darth Vader, Reva, and a whole bunch of stormtroopers go to Jabim, and then this is again mirroring that duel. You know, Darth Vader's always on the attack. Anakin was always on the attack. You need to learn strategy, basically, and so that again, that was so good. Now, Obi-Wan Kenobi, all of the people get locked inside. They barricade themselves in a certain part of this Jabim base. And Reva and the stormtroopers come down and start blowing the door apart, trying to get through. Now, some of those shots were awful. Very, very, very crap. Handheld, weird, just looked cheap, looked real bad. Worse than fan-made, quite frankly. But what I mean, I just mean it looked really amateurish. And this is where it comes down to whoever was working as the cinematographer, but then also Deborah Chow as director. She's not very good at this, which is really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. I don't know, maybe it was a mandate from Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm. I don't know, but significantly cheaper looking shots. You know, the framing of stuff is really weird, really just poor framing of stuff. Where you could have made it so much better, but they didn't, and yeah, on that merit, that it's just a bit of a fail, really. Now, Obi-Wan Kenobi tries to speak with Reva, finally learns who she is, and goes like, "Oh, let me make a deal with you. You know, I know you're basically trying to get Anakin, aren't you?" And I thought, that was a bit dumb at the start, and then it turns out that Obi-Wan Kenobi was tricking Reva. So Obi-Wan Kenobi played Reva knowing that, well, basically had this whole plan in mind that he would escape in the way that he did. And that Reva would then try and kill Darth Vader. And, may win. And I thought that was kind of cool, fine. And then it led to this fight between Reva and Darth Vader again, which was really good. And Darth Vader's he's not even breaking a sweat, he's having a laugh with her. And I liked that, but again, some of the shots during that fight scene, I don't know what it is. Like a lot of this just looks really cheap and weird. I just don't get it. The music was also pretty bad in this episode. Didn't feel any sort of major weight in this episode with the music, which is a real shame. Like that's a real shame. So anyway, bottom line is, Reva gets stabbed in the gut. Figures out that Luke is on Tatooine because someone dropped Obi-Wan Kenobi's communicator, where Bail Organa is talking, to Obi-Wan about Luke, and this obviously sets up that Reva's going to go over to Tatooine, and I guess try and get Luke. I don't know. They've said that there's going to be a spin-off show, and I'm a bit confused where they go with this. There was also rumours that Qui-Gon Jinn would turn up. There was also supposedly another fight that was going to take place. So I don't really know what's going to happen now moving into the last episode unless it's longer. If it's longer, great, cool, awesome. But I did like this episode because this episode very much showed that Obi-Wan was still the master in the relationship between him and Darth Vader. He can strategize Darth Vader in very smart ways. And, make him look like a fool. Grand Inquisitor's still alive. Sure, fine, that's cool. But then we should have had something of him earlier. There was no reason to hide him. There's literally no reason to hide him. It seems really dumb that they did that. So, Yeah, there you go. Better, but still left going a bit like, you know, why didn't you include a lot of this other stuff? Come on now. So let me know what you think down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way. But also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we, of course, have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.